what's up, guys? For season 3, episode 38 of the SurgeCast, we're back and playoffs are right around the corner, but we've got a special guest on today, so let's get into it. I'm Kat.
I'm Zach.
I'm Dan.
And we've got, as the Fancy Duck boys like to call him, Dano the Mano is joining us once again. We've looked forward to this for quite a while, but I mean, you've been kind of busy, Dan. Just a little bit.
Busy season. It really was. And it went fast. They go faster and faster every year, but we had a lot going on this season. And play on the ice, especially once we got through that rough stretch early on, made things go fast. But we've got a lot of stuff cooking up, and we're really excited to get into the playoffs here because there's really nothing quite like Raleigh during playoff season with Canes.
Oh, no, 100%. And, it's funny because you mentioned, being at home and PNC and stuff. I know the NHLPA dropped their survey results, and Carolina got a 16% on being a tough place to play, with Vegas being 31%. I'm like, Vegas is cool and all with their pregame stuff, but have you been to Raleigh during a playoff game? I mean, just ask Mike Foreman. His pictures get broken in the middle of a hockey game. So 16% seems a little low to me, but
I think Dan needs to send him a better marketing picture of PNC though.
I don't mind being under the radar a little bit going in, and hopefully we can up that rating even more so once we get through the playoffs a little bit. I think there was some recency bias there too with the Knights winning the cup last year. So I think very hopeful. And feel it in my heart of hearts that we're going to make a very deep run this year. And I think we'll show the whole world instead of just the Eastern Conference, how loud this place could be.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
100%. So we have a couple things that we've had some questions come our way for you, but we also have some fun things to talk about because we've had a lot of fun stuff going on this season. I mean, there's big giveaways. We've had the beer stick, popcorn Zamboni, bobbleheads,
Canes bars. The Canes bars have been pretty popular too. So a lot of great stuff. Jerseys. Woof. You guys have been cooking a lot over the last couple months here, Dan.
We launched a mobile app too, I think that was September,
and it just updated today.
It's really nice. It's really everything you guys do just seems always good. So
appreciate the kind words. Our crew works really, really hard, and we're happy but never ever satisfied. So there's a lot more left for us to do, and there's some things that we're setting up now that we're hopeful will pay off over the next year or so. Or beyond that, but we have a job to do, and we're not satisfied unless we do it better than everybody else. So, but the popcorn Zamboni and the beer stick, well, those were huge, and all props to our food and beverage team. They've been challenged to sort of come up with new things, and a vendor approached them with a couple of ideas, and our crew just felt that was a really good fit. So we got together to think about how we can make this work the right way. And the first thing was popcorn Zamboni, which I know sold out really quickly. And what's crazy too is that other teams have done that. And from what I understand, they haven't sold well, but I think there's just something about the fans in this market that they're just so engaged and so excited and so invested in the team that we seem to outperform every which way. And those will come back next year too. I know there's talks of some new designs, whether it's a Stormy themed one or perhaps a Whalers one, but those will be back, as well as the beer sticks too. I think we're just getting started with that stuff and other things too. I was just in a meeting a couple of weeks ago talking about what else we could possibly do, and there's talk of fishbowl beverages and all sorts of other stuff, and that's not to say that we're just going to keep it to the novelty items. A whole lot more food and beverage items and ideas coming to PNC Arena. I want to tie stuff to theme nights more, whether it's blue milk for Star Wars night or if it's anything else we come up with. If we do like Durham Bulls night, maybe we'll do a steak sandwich or something. But
there you go.
Plenty of ideas, and all ideas are welcome. I'm a big sucker for themed food items that are limited edition.
There's so for NASCAR night. There's so many ideas you guys can come up with on NASCAR night too. Like tire, like some with the tires. NASCAR, there you go. Or like just whatever, like how some teams do like those like giveaway jerseys. Make it like a giveaway like Canes race suit, race jacket, or something like that. I don't know. There's so many ideas.
And now we're at a spot too where I think we've done a little bit better with giveaway items over the last couple of years, that we start getting a lot more out there and fun. we've kind of done the baseline.
Mhm.
We did a little bit of fun stuff this year with the Jarvis bobblehead and the Svetch Star Wars bobblehead. Now I think we can do a lot more fun stuff and really more off the wall. But on the topic of food stuff, sometimes you don't even need a theme night. It's just, hey, there's a cool idea for, I don't know, a Bojangles themed popcorn seasoning or something. I don't know.
Right.
Well, I mean, even just the little like plastic mason jars with the Canes logo on it. Like if you want to make strength, like those are fun to get them in. Like they were.
Yeah, those are really nice.
Like,
yeah.
and those are just. I mean, they're kind of those are consistent.
That's my
But-
fine china at home right now. So we use when the guests come over and we want to impress. It's any type of Canes mason jar or playoff cup.
I have a couple. I do have a couple of the one recently got a little bent in the dishwasher, so we've learned hand wash only. But yeah, and it's I think the beer bat it got pretty big, like outside of just with
Didn't
us,
expect
like
to hear
our beer stick.
Jimmy Fallon, and talking about being in that thing. Didn't expect that at all. That's
Yeah,
really
that
great
was
earned media there. We appreciate you, Jimmy. Thank you for that. But no, it really did get a lot of popularity, and sometimes you never know. Like we knew it was going to be big, but we didn't think it was going to be outside the Carolinas big.
right.
And sometimes you get lucky with that stuff, and we did. So credit to our crew, and hopefully we can do some more fun things with it. But those will be back. All that stuff will be back, and some other new things for next season too.
Well, I know a lot of people. I know I've seen from baseball teams, and Dan, I know with baseball season, you're a big Yankees guy.
Oh yeah.
Some fans might not like that, but it is what it is. But I know a lot of people like the big helmets and stuff like that. You get like nachos or ice cream in it, and I'm thinking, I don't know, nachos in a Canes helmet.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be a
I mean, you can already
thing?
get ice cream in the
Well,
little-
yeah. Oh, the small ones, yeah. But you're talking a bigger Canes helmet though for
Well,
nachos.
I believe there are talks of that. And speaking of the ice cream helmets too, it's funny. They're the perfect size to fit on the plush Stormies that we sell in the eye. So if you want to properly, protect
Nice.
Stormy's head,
There you go.
They actually do fits. We saw a bunch of children doing it, and we were doing some research. I guess the vendor was looking around and it saw a bunch of Stormies wearing them. So that's good. A match made in heaven. Stormy and headwear.
I mean,
Hey, you know
I
what?
do
It
think
works.
that you're so like. Of course, you guys are. I mean, by the time I see something and I'm like, ooh, maybe I should send that Dan's way. I'm sure he's already seen it. Like I'm pretty sure.
Like fanny
when
packs.
the dirt, well,
Yeah.
Recently the Kraken did some fanny packs, and I was like, man, there's
Good for a
there's
90s
some-
night.
There we go. There we go.
I mean,
And
that would
that's
also fan appreciation. All fans would appreciate that. We got to get our stuff into the arena somehow.
We've got a couple ideas cooking up for theme nights next year, and items and giveaways, but always open to ideas. It's one
Within
reason
reason. Let's
I
not get
mean,
crazy,
I
guys.
did
Let's
say
not get crazy.
when the Durham Bulls did the beer bats, I was like, Dan, you
were the first on.
I think we already got something in the works.
Yeah, but you were on that one, so props to you too. I'll tell you, I think you have a marketing background.
I
Just a little
try.
bit, just
I just
a
like
little
listen.
bit.
If it's something fun for fans, if I think it's like as a fan myself, I'm like, oh, that's fun, and then I'm like, oh, but as marketing, that would just be like over the top. Oh, it gets me so excited. And there are a lot of teams around the league that do really well too. So I'm always like, oh, what can we play from them and see what we can do, like Canes themed.
Sports industry is a copycat industry, and if something works somewhere, we definitely want to try it. I will say things seem to work really well no matter what we do here, but that's what happens when you win too. The popcorn tastes better, and the beer tastes better, and everybody's happy and just enjoying the vibes.
Yeah, especially when you sell out 41 home games this year. I mean, if you even take it last year, like I know the Stadium Series was an NHL event, but if you really think about it, the team sold out back-to-back seasons of all their home games.
It's been a special run. I mean, I went to a game back in 2015 or so, or 2016 before the good times, to see where we are now. And I probably said it in the last podcast I was with you guys on, to see where they were then versus now. It's a different situation. So we're blessed. I mean, we've seen things going on with other sports teams between Oakland and Arizona, and all that's unfortunate because the people that suffer the most are the fans. And right now we're in such a good spot thanks to Tom and Don and a lot of other senior leaders here. Of course, Rod, and together that we've been able to really put some strong roots down in Raleigh and be set up for a long, long time here to continue growing and hopefully just making the fans happy.
I will say one one fun thing that with all the bobbleheads,
Yeah.
I did hear. So I think one of the last couple of games, Stormy was there, but we also had a bunch of other mascots from like other
Yes.
teams, I think,
Yeah.
visiting.
Mhm.
And my mom was
Kids
like,
Day.
She was like, do we have a Stormy bobblehead? She's like, I would take a bobblehead of all the mascots
Yeah.
just by their reactions on there. And she was like, I think that she's like, I love Jarvie, but like a Stormy one, oh, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
so there is a Stormy one, and it's right now it's a Kids Club exclusive, but those have all sold through. So we're working to sort of reimagine Kids Club, and that could be an item again next year. But if it's not, I'd like to get something at retail because players come and go. Stormy lives forever, so I think he's a very accessible fan. It'd be cool to get a vintage Stormy.
When it has Cause Chaos Stormy up on the screen, like when it's the zoom in of him and he's just going crazy, that video gives me sometimes more hype than the players ones because it just goes from like their Stormy being ridiculous and a close up on him, and I'm like, that's a little bit of a nightmare. But let's go Stormy.
I don't know, Dan. You might be onto some with a vintage Stormy in a bobblehead with that little sweater on. I mean,
yeah, that could be really cool.
Might be onto something.
Vintage Stormy always seems to do great work for us, and I don't know if I talked about this the last time I was on, but that was just some guy I found on the Sports Logos message boards. And I just kind of tucked away the idea for a while. Like, I really want to do a reimagining of our mascot in that like vintage college style. And he was great. I reached out to the guy. He's a designer. He's also a science teacher, I believe, out in South Dakota. And he was great about it. We worked together on it, and we signed a contract. And I told him this is what we want to use it for. It's going to be for retail and some marketing stuff here and there. And he was great. So we did send him some gear with once we got it in stock, and now it's we know it's the fans love it. We know our owner likes it, so it's a popular thing there, and it's fun. It's goofy and silly, and hopefully we can do more with that in the future too.
It definitely fits the college vibes of the triangle, especially with NC State and stuff. So I'd say it worked out pretty well.
College nights, college Stormy.
Yeah. There you go.
We definitely, so when we knew you were coming back on, I mean, everyone loves it when you, I think besides like Mike and all of them, they love it when you come and join and talk with us. So I did get a couple of questions, and some of these are tying into what we're talking about now. So actually, Computer and Coin said, which teams, besides the Canes, of course, that you think had the best fan giveaways this season, and what were the items or ones that you took kind of some inspiration from?
That's a good question. Well, really liked what Detroit did with the gravy boat Zambonis.
Oh yeah.
So that one is one that we like a whole lot, and certainly explore on our own side here, because if you got a game leading up to Thanksgiving, what better time than to give out gravy boat? But then again, in the South, you can have sausage gravy anytime. So that's one we like a lot. Seattle does a really great job with a lot of their specialty jerseys. So I do like that, and their giveaways are really good too. They do a good job there. But we try not to just only look at hockey. We do look at the NBA a little bit and MLB. Bias aside, there's a couple things the Yankees did this year with custom basketball jerseys, and I think it was a hockey jersey they did. They did a basketball jersey last year and a hockey jersey this year. That kind of stuff could be really fun if you ever want to do something, maybe say with the Durham Bulls, or with maybe a soccer kit giveaway with Charlotte FC or the Courage or something. That's the kind of stuff that we've seen other teams have success with, and we'll look into. We did that a little bit this year. We did a scarf with the Courage, and it sold relatively well. But we're always looking around at all people, or all teams. But definitely like that gravy Zamboni. So that could be one that might, if it all works out well, could be coming to an arena near you guys sometime soon.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. When we got the popcorn Zamboni, my boyfriend did try to see if any liquid could go into it at some point. And he was like, nope, it leaks. It leaks.
It does have a couple leaks in there, too. We're going to get the sealable ones for next year.
And you know what? The wheels move. It's a little extra thing, because why not? I mean, hey, you got the beer sticks. So
a little Stormy to go on there, too. Man.
Yeah.
Eating popcorn.
Yeah, and I do know, and you talked about it some with like the Durham Bulls. There was a really good jersey with them where they had like the red Canes.
Their baseball jerseys, yeah.
And I know with we'll talk about it a little bit more too. That little fan survey, there was a little like Hurricanes baseball kind of logo, and I was like, ooh, slap that on there, and that would be even better because I'll definitely wear that.
Absolutely, yeah. So some people really like the scripts. I'm a sucker for them. I'm being a baseball fan and all, but I know it gets a little bit. All those were just concepts that were built around across the Stadium Series jersey that we ended up not going with for a number of reasons. We really felt strongly about the direction we did go in, but all those things have merit, and we want to see how they resonate with fans in certain ways. And to your point, if it's not for an official uniform, maybe it's for a merch play or a co-branded merch play, something along those lines. So
yeah, cool. I guess we should also clarify. We talked a little bit about this before, but I guess we'll go ahead and step into it with the little brand survey that came out recently. Yeah. There were some mixed reviews. Yeah. Like I just said, I really love the baseball font. Again, I was like, I don't know for like an all-time jersey, but like that would be a fun like collab or something.
Absolutely.
So this was, you guys knew going into this that some of those ideas were like, no, yes, we're definitely going to scrap those. We just want to see like what's the vibe outside.
Exactly.
And it was felt. It was very felt.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we wanted that to do. I mean, there was a lot of key value in every survey question we put out there. And part of it too was to support our Caniac Connect platform, which actually just reopened today, and people can apply to be part of that again, which is essentially a feedback group that we want to do what's best for the fans, and the only way to do that is to really listen to them. But in the case of this particular branding survey, we felt it was a good time just to kind of understand how existing elements really resonate with our fans, whether it's all of our logos and jerseys throughout history, and how some concept things resonate with fans. I'll get back to that in a second. And then, of course, a few other just philosophical questions about what matters to them. It includes weather elements versus what about adding other colors and things of that nature. But the concept logos that were included on there, totally by design. We knew those were things that weren't really going to click with everybody, but we wanted to make sure that this survey got well beyond the people that it was sent to, because we want to see chatter on Reddit and Twitter. So every time someone screen capped that stuff and it led to a conversation about our brand, that's gold for us because we're getting authentic responses. So those are all things we knew we would never really use in any official capacity unless there was like a unanimous, like, oh my God, we love this. But we kind of knew going in that those were things that we were comfortable sharing. They were concepts that were associated with early stages of Stadium Series uniform planning and some other things from back in the day that never got used. We just wanted to get a feel for it. But the chatter that it led to was really valuable and kind of helped us a lot. Just understand what clicks with fans and what doesn't. So it was all by design, and we got some really, really great insights out of it overall.
Yeah, I really liked when you did like the old, like when you guys were asking about jerseys and even the word marking too. It was nice seeing like the old school, like 2006-ish range of the crooked, like italicized
with
font.
the whip marks on it. I like that personally, to be honest.
It's so nice. It's so classic. I actually missed that.
I love that one too. I love 90s design stuff. I think it always is fun. It sells really well. Nostalgia's in too. What's fascinating about that one, that indexed a lot lower on the survey than I thought it would. In fact, I have some results right here. We'll share them exclusively on the podcast.
You're talking about the italicized ones that are kind of
the original word mark.
Those are kind of slanted with like the little lines coming off the letters. Oh, those were so classic of like just old school, like mid to late 2000s.
I'm all for like looking like old school 90s and stuff. Like I love the very simple. As you can, if you're watching the video of us, I have a Canes mug, and if it looks like it could be on like an old school sweatshirt, like from the 90s, I'm like, that's it. I'll take it.
That's basically that word marking. That's what that word marking is too. Yeah. And like, well, yes. Actually, so Dan, you said you have results.
I have it right here on it, and it's probably flipped and all that stuff.
No, it's actually perfect. That's the font.
Yeah.
So many great memories with that font. With that
one
word marking.
Only indexed at like 50 to 55% in terms of popularity on that survey, which is shocking to a lot of people here because a lot of people internally really like it for that very reason. But the most popular uniforms, according to the survey, was our current black uniform with the alternate mark on it, our Stadium Series uniform, and then our 2006 anniversary uniform with the third. And logos was, the two flag mark was the most popular. But we got some good insight there. And like, for example, one of the most important things to fans for any brand was they wanted to look good on merchandise. I mean, that was ranked well above everything else in terms of priorities and things. So we got some good insight on there. And there's no changes that are imminent at this
Mhm.
second. That was more of a, hey, let's use this opportunity while there are no changes happening to just gather some
Mhm.
feedback and get some intel from fans. And we did. It's valuable data. It's valuable to understand kind of where you are, especially when the brand is in a good spot. So we'll see what happens from that. Obviously, there's a lot cooking up with the league right now with changing to Fanatics, but we got some good intel there and probably aggravated a few fans, so I'm sorry about that. But it was a great trade-off to getting really authentic feedback at a great time.
I mean,
And
I'm not really
the timing with the specialty jerseys
Yeah.
coming out. Those
And that
to
was not
clarify, I've
intentional.
heard to clarify for some people, all the specialty jerseys that came out were going to be like warm-up jerseys. Like that's why there's a limited number because they were warm-up jerseys for the players to wear. So yes, some had some elements from the survey that came out. So people were a little like, oh no, like I didn't like this and it came out anyway. It wasn't, there wasn't really a
That'd be
tie-in
amazing.
there. It was
we were
already
able to work
planned.
that quick.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh.
I mean, we have before, but not that quick. But no, that was bad timing in my part. The branding survey was actually supposed to go out about 3 or 4 weeks before we actually did it. It just took a while to get approvals on certain things and things built out and figure out the right time with other email schedules going on. And so it went right up against the already locked in date for the Stormy jersey, which I'll take the blame for. I mean, our designer did an amazing job coming up with a ton of different concepts. And the one we went with, it was popular to some, was not popular to others. It still sold out really, really quickly, but perhaps they wanted to see Stormy on the front. So next chance we get, we'll do that. But
I mean, overall, I think they still look good. They still look good. Yeah,
they did so many different concepts to it, and they were all great. But I ultimately chose the final one that's on me. And if I'm batting 260, okay, I'll try to bat 275 next year. But ultimately, it was the timing screwed us a little bit on that one.
Right. But
so they are hearing fans. You guys are hearing fans. It's just at that moment it looked like it was like, we hear you, but never mind. But that's not the case. That's not the case. The schedule was already set.
We care what you guys think. We really do.
Yeah, no, but going back to the survey real quick, I'm really not surprised that the alternate logo is like the most popular one because it's more sleek. It's the way it fits, it works fine. And Steam Series, not surprised either because that blackout logo is really nice as well too. And of course, and the fact that it was the 25th anniversary is like one of the popular jerseys, also not really surprised because I mean, Dan, like so many great memories of that jersey. Won the cup. It was the main one for so long before the other jerseys that came after that. There's a team name I associate with it, but I'm not going to.
I think we can guess which ones performed the worst on the survey, and that one jersey wise wasn't a surprise at all.
Yeah, so I mean, and the fact that it's like when I know when you guys announced the 25th anniversary jerseys, just how much it blew up. It's like, okay, yeah, like we might be onto something here with something like that. If they ever became the primaries again, home and road. I don't think anyone would really complain.
No, they're beautiful and nostalgia's in right now. And if you see a lot of the teams that, and across all sports, that have either gone through a pretty revolutionary brand change over the past 10, 15 years, a lot of them have reverted back to what was popular for them in the early 2000s or the 90s. Or we saw it a lot in the NFL last year when the Seahawks did it, and
the Patriots, yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what other trends come soon. I wonder if it's all cyclical too. Will it kick the other way? New or bold is big again, but we kind of skipped a lot of that process. So, but we do know that vintage stuff really does click with our fans, and why wouldn't it? I mean, we were all kids in 2006 and or the late 90s, and it's a happier time for us, and we everything's happy, but that was like you always look back fondly on nostalgia thing, and it that sells. So that's not lost on us either.
Yeah, I think the thing that a lot of teams, not talking just NHL, I think just sports in general, is like they want to try to go more modern, and it's kind of like you can do modern, but it's like if you are like trying to go futuristic with it, because we saw a lot of in the NFL, like there's a lot of jerseys where you're just like, I don't know about
Atlanta, all that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that is a little much, but like the thing is like what you said, the retro works, but it's like the fact that you're putting a retro look on now modern jerseys and modern like sportswear and stuff like that. It's kind of like, okay, you're not getting like the old school feels of that material back then, but you're putting on the newer stuff, and it's like, oh, it's like that 2.0. It seems like,
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
no, makes
I
perfect sense.
always want the vintage. So I think I tweeted because I was like frustrated about it. So every time I go, I find a site and it's like, you want this like vintage NHL gear, and I'm like, oh, let me go look. And I'm always like I understand the Carolina Hurricanes. Like some of the teams definitely were way before us, so they've got some like really old school like vintage.
We don't
gear.
have enough.
And so every time I'm like, I want some vintage Hurricane stuff, and everyone's like, that's Whalers gear, and I'm like, no, but I want the vintage
late 90s
Kane stuff.
Yeah, give me the late 90s, early 2000 Canes, mid 2000 Canes. Give me like 1997 to 2007. That's all I want.
And our retail team did a great job with that last season too, but there's never enough to kind of keep in stock of that stuff. It does sell really well. So
officially does a really good job too with what you guys partnering with them. They've put out a lot of great stuff as well.
Was that this season too? Jeez, and we did it. Season. Yeah, that was fun. They just
the corduroy hats. The corduroy hats are actually pretty nice.
The two things that always gets me is that I'm like, oh, I want some old school Kane stuff, and then I also. And I understand it. I understand the color scheme and everything. And I know on the survey there was an ask like, would you like to see another color? And I was just like, I don't know what goes with red and black. And I think I did like either a cream or a gold. Yeah. Well, I said even a cream or like a gold or something.
Cream would work, yeah. Cream would work.
Just over here, vintage, and I'm sitting here watching. So the thing that always gets me, so I'm over here watching, and the Seattle Kraken, they're just base colors are just beautiful. So they have a lot to play with. But when the Ducks get to play with all their fun, like their little eggplant and their orange, all that fun. And then I look up at the Washington Capitals and I'm like, okay, they have some similar color sets. They had that beautiful cherry blossom jersey. Yeah. Dan, if you could get me some fun colors.
Yeah. Okay, or not against it. You know, that's something.
Give us the Raleigh Oaks theme.
There's so many, it sounds silly, but there's so many great colors out there that are unique. And obviously, you know, we've been red and black for a really long time, and I don't know if that's changing anytime soon. But we did put that question in there by design, just to see kind of what did resonate with fans, and we got some surprising feedback with it. There certainly appears to be some more openness to introducing colors. I was surprised to see blue kind of high there, and greens even did relatively well. I think the most votes were for silver and gray, which were already kind of part of our look.
Right.
But it's interesting, like, because you'd think the whole Carolina thing, there's a lot of divisiveness around certain colors, but I think you can storytell from a lot of them too. Whether it's blue, you know, you have Whalers history, or you have in the coast, you have the Carolina flag, obviously is red and blue in North Carolina. And you have
the ice caps and all
that. The ice caps. Yeah, there's a lot you could do with that. I'm not saying we're doing anything, but you know, you always want to, once you see kind of the results, you think about, well, what would be the right way to position that, you know? And green is not dissimilar. I mean, you got the Whalers, you got just how green the Carolinas are from just you know, the Oak City kind of piece there too. But nothing's cooking up or anything like that. But it is something that, you know, I was surprised by some of the results, that it was a little bit more openness to that than I anticipated. I thought it was going to be dead set, like don't touch it. But we got a couple interesting results in that one.
You know what, I just thought of it, and I know like we've kind of like went past a little bit of like other ideas, but I just thought of it right now. I wanted to shoot it at you. So you know, for college, and I know like we do a lot of the hats and stuff like that with the certain colors like that. Yeah. Like I know a lot of people, you know, because a lot of people went to like Appalachian State or NC State, you know, just a lot of different schools in the Carolinas. Like, what do you think about like possible like T-shirts with like the logo on the front, but in the college colors? Yeah. For fans, like, and then like have like their school logo.
What did you say? What did you call App State? What did you say the whole name again?
Appalachian State.
That's right.
I know how to pronounce. Yeah, trust me, I've gotten yelled at about saying it wrong, and I'm not going to get yelled at again for it because it's not Apple.
Just making sure that.
Yeah. I've gotten yelled at by the Fancy Duck Boys enough about pronouncing that wrong. I ain't going to do it again, but
it's an important part of being North Carolinian to pronounce that correctly. And I got called out for it a bunch, and thank you, because Armani Edwards was such a hero to Panthers fans and App State fans. So I did really learn how to pronounce that one correctly. We've looked at a lot of different concepts for that, especially for our varsity lineup. It used to be called College Colors, RIP, campaign. And I know we did tumblers this year certainly looking into that. We looked into different hats and shirts that with the Canes logo and then different colors, because obviously colleges have pretty strict licensing rules. We can never actually sell anything, but if you attach it to a ticket deal, again, ends up being a little easier. So we have looked into shirts in that color. It's tough because if you're going to attach it to a ticket offer, you probably got to have both logos on it, and then it gets a little challenging. But if it's just going to be a T-shirt or something like that, it could be kind of fun, and that's something that it's we could certainly look into for certain schools. We think would sell better than others. We see, especially with that program, ECU and App State are probably, and NC State are our 3 top sellers. NC State isn't a surprise, but how ECU and App State come out every year in that campaign, I'm always shocked by that. Like that one,
I guess because it's interesting is the fact that I can't really speak for it for sure because I'm not really from the area. I mean, I've lived in the Carolinas for almost close to 15 years, but I know it's like you see a lot more people go to like App State, ECU, and stuff like that who are actually from the area because it seems like with Duke and UNC, it seems like everyone wants to go to those 2 schools from wherever. Where it's like you're getting more locals going to like those schools, so it makes sense why you probably see more of a uptick.
Well thought out there, so that's a good point.
Yeah. Oh, just a guess.
So I have another question from you from one of our lovely followers at Twitter. Katie said, how should one grow and continue to grow their brand with a continuously changing market? Any tips on how to go about doing so in the hockey world? Also, how can one help develop a hockey team's brand in a smaller market?
Great questions. This answer should take a couple hours, so sit down.
All right, let me go grab a snack real quick.
And there's so many other factors too, especially in the Canes case, where there really was a lack of relevancy from a good period, almost a decade. And that's something that's not lost on us at this stage too, now that the team is embarking on their 6th straight playoff appearance, that we're probably at our peak relevancy right now in terms of just overall business and team performance. And obviously 2006 was special. There's no matching winning a cup, but 6 years of sustained success and tongue twister in sports is really, really, really good. It's good for a lot of people. It's good for business. It's good for kind of really just weaving yourself into the culture of the city and the state and the region. So one thing that we spent a lot of time looking at in the offseason was how do we make up for that gap of like 8 or 9 years where the team really only had a small group of core fans. And one of the things that we missed out on in that period was just a lot more brand visibility and positioning within the market and in organic and authentic ways. It sounds stupid, but as simple as more businesses with a Canes flag out front were in their business, or more car decals in market, or things like more visibility in bars. And that's what will segue into something like the Canes Bar program that we launched this year. Something we've been working on for a couple of years, and we finally got the right people in place to help bring it to life. And that's something that we're really excited about, because while it's still in its infancy right now, having launched back in February or March, we feel that by continuously pouring and investing resources into it over the next 5 to 10 years, we're hopeful that a lot more bars in the Carolinas and even outside the Carolinas have a lot more Canes gear in there. So when people are just going to go there, they see our brand. But also we want to make sure we're building a sense of community among our fans and a lot of pride. So that's something where not only does it get our logo and our brand out there in places where sports fans generally hang out, it does kind of create a new vehicle for engaging fans in a different way. But we're looking for every little way to kind of make our brand get more eyeballs and kind of make up for that lost ground. So the team's doing their job on the ice, but we're looking for those little ways to sort of add up to a big thing. And some of those little things we do, our varsity lineup campaign we talked about a few minutes ago, right? We did tumblers this year for every school. We sold probably, 5,000 to 7,000 of those this year. And every single one of those came with a car decal inside of it, with the hope that either someone puts it on their tumbler or on their car. We're about to, in the playoffs next week, we're using some of our playoff budget to launch a car decal campaign where we printed up several thousand of these little decals with a message on the back. And we're going to distribute them to a couple of businesses locally, and with hopes that people just take one and pop it on their car or pop it on something else there. On the back is going to be a QR code where you can enter to win some prizes, whether it's a gift card or a signed puck or whatever else. So, there's no incentive for putting a card decal on. We hope people just do it because it's the playoffs, it's the Canes and all that. And they're getting something for free, really. But little ways that we can just get our logo out there more. That's what we think will equal to a big thing, because we're doing the big things well. We're competing at a high level on the ice. We're engaging our fans at the arena. Our digital is in a really good spot, and there's still more we can do. Like our YouTube page got revived this year after a bunch of years hiatus when we figured out our video process, and that's the thing we'll pour a lot more into. So we're doing those things for the modern market correctly. It's sort of like, what do we miss out on from 2012 to 2017 or so that we need to kind of make up for? And it sounds silly, but it's like getting more Coke branded Canes umbrellas at restaurants around Raleigh. It's those little things that we think are going to add up. And then, of course, the bigger stuff too, the mural campaigns. We're working on a pretty big one right now in line with the playoffs, but getting that authentic brand visibility is something we really, really want to do. And that's like bucket number one. And I have a whole list of where it's like, we just got together a whole marketing team and we came up with like a couple hundred ideas. And some of them are getting more involved sponsoring events. Like the Canes are going to sponsor Broogaloo next month in Raleigh. There's a QR code branded bracelet where you can enter to win some prizes there just by scanning it, and that's going out to 50,000 people. And there's more partnership things we can do like that we're just more visible, whether it's at the state fair or events in Charlotte, and hopefully in the future Dreamville once we figure out the right way to get in there. But that's bucket one, and bucket two is a lot more community engagement, getting out to hospitals and schools a whole lot more, figuring out ways to leverage our logo and our brand and our players in a way that makes our youngsters feel special and part. So that's kind of the stuff we're looking at right now. We want to kind of make up for. I hope this team is good forever, and I really do. Like everyone who works in sport wants your team to be competitive, but realistically, there are windows with all this, and I do think we're going to be good for a long time because the front office has just a tremendous talent for scouting prospects and developing these players. So I think we got a number of years left where we're going to be good, but that's not a sure thing. There's going to be times when we're going to struggle. I want to make sure our brand is relevant enough and we have enough leads generated to where when the sun isn't shining on us, we can still activate and grow and drive revenue the right way. So it's a lot of things kind of converging at one point, and soon we'll be looping in other departments to help us in this mission of getting our brand out there in more authentic ways. But those are the things that we kind of have our eyes on right now in this market in particular, one that is, to Katie's point, it is a growing market, but it's a non-traditional one. We have a lot of transplants here. How do we convince them to be? How can we be your second favorite team or your first favorite team if you're a good smart person? So there's a lot of things
exactly. Yeah.
And Canes Bars is part of that. Working with events, and just getting more out there is key for us. And there's a lot of other things on the horizon that I can't talk about. Those are things I was able to share, but our team is committed to being as relevant and as important to this area. We just want to weave being a Canes fan into, like, I'm from Raleigh, I'm from North Carolina. Being a Canes fan is part of that. And we think with the right investment, we can do that pretty effectively. But it takes time. It's like planting a tree or a garden. You got to nurture it the right way and grow it and kind of give it the right fertilizer here and there. And then before you know it, 10 years from now, the brand is in a spot that it's never been in before.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Got a big old oak tree.
Yeah, right. So actually, I do have a couple of questions for you, Dan. Yeah. I know you kind of talked about it. I know you said that you were able to share with us. So the two questions, if you can, great. If not, totally understand.
Yeah, sure.
Question one, I know with the Canes Bars, I know you guys have some locations in South Carolina. Is there any other ideas you guys are thinking about doing with trying to connect with South Carolina? Because I know a lot of people are trying, because I know there's I know there's a few other Hurricanes fans down here, but is there more like a idea for the team to we've got North Carolina pretty set up, what can we do to get the other Carolina involved?
One idea we talked about a couple years ago, we just haven't figured out the right way to bring it to life. I think a beach party would be cool in summer, where you go down to one of the beaches in the South Carolinas and you try to get people down there. But there are more impactful ways to engage that audience. That's one we're certainly looking at. In the case of Canes Bars, for example, not a lot of bars in South Carolina applied. And we basically did a lot of sourcing. We started talking to a lot of fans. But when ones did apply that were in the South Carolina region, we made sure we went and talked to them immediately. we do want some in there. So we're hopeful that as the program grows, that will help, and we can create little hubs in South Carolina where fans feel like, whether it's over the border of Charlotte or deeper into South Carolina, they feel like they can build a sense of community there, because there are fans. And look, our market research shows there are significantly less Canes fans in South Carolina than Carolina, which is not a shock at all. I mean, we're based in the capital, we're deeper into the part of North Carolina there, but that doesn't mean we should be ignoring the whole state there. So we are looking for ways to do it. But that is something that once we kind of some of these other plans come to fruition, we absolutely plan on engaging in it in a meaningful way. But right now, it's kind of watering little bits of plans.
Right.
I think the biggest challenge too is the broadcast piece. That's something where we want to make sure we have great market penetration there. But there's other things that we can do. Even like I'll take I hate to go back to the varsity lineup campaign, but we got Coastal Carolina as part of that for the first time, and I think Clemson bowed out this year, but I feel like University of South Carolina is in it this year. So we are able to then see how many people are buying those things. And those are people that we can re-message and sort of learn from about what their passions and buying habits are, to understand how to maybe engage other people that have some sort of connection to South Carolina.
Yeah, no, that's what
there's so much potential there, because they don't have a pro team in South Carolina. So yeah, they got the Panthers on the border, but there's
because I'm like 15 minutes from downtown.
We're talking
Columbia.
Successful pro teams, Dan.
Hey, I love my Panthers.
Wow.
I think that the sky's the limit with this new coach.
I'm sorry.
Hoping for nothing but the best.
Yeah. Okay. Because I'm like 15 minutes from downtown Columbia, and it's just nothing but University of South Carolina. And luckily, there's one Canesboro Lake, I think 15 minutes from where I'm at. Luckily, so that kind of worked out perfectly. Because like I said, I know I'm down here. I know there's a few others down here too. It'd be kind of cool just to be able to do that. Yeah. So if you guys ever need help, let us know, because we definitely want to try to get that down here.
Your brain offline, because that's something that we'd be silly to turn our back on South Carolina. It's a great market full of passionate fans.
A lot of potential down here. There's a lot, like you said, there's a lot of potential, because like you got the Panthers, and then it's like you got the Braves for baseball, and that's. Yeah. And then of course, you got all the teams up there in Raleigh, and of course, with the
when we used to be
chaos lacrosse teams coming too for the PLL. So
there you go.
When we used to have when we used to be, the Canes were affiliated with the Checkers. Like a lot of people in South Carolina were all about, I see the Checkers. Oh yeah,
100%.
They would make those connections, and now that they're not there, they're like
even Greenville too, even with the Swamp Rabbits, even with the Swamp Rabbits too. And so my second question, I know you brought the YouTube channel, and I'm glad you did, because we actually asked Walt Ruff, Cat, was it like the last time he was on, right? A couple months ago. I know we talked to him about YouTube and stuff like that. So I want to ask you, Dan. So is there like any, have you, I know you probably, seen what other teams have been doing on YouTube and stuff like that. Have you guys talked about potentially not doing exactly what Minnesota does with becoming wild, or like the Boston Bruins with Behind the B, or I think I forget what Columbus's is, Beyond the Battle or something like that,
or Buffalo between the two stalls.
Yeah,
that one's pretty good. But have you guys thought about doing a behind the scenes type?
For years. It's just we do have a smaller staff than a lot of other teams,
right?
In terms of production and creative, and I'm a firm believer that if you can't do something well and consistently, it might not be worth kind of putting it out there. So if you look back at our YouTube channel, some of these videos might be offline now. There were attempts at it where we get 2 episodes in, and it would just be with so many projects and so many things that require whether it's in-game presentation elements or other things or little projects and coverage that would take away from it. So we did add a video producer to our staff in the past couple of months. We're kind of at full strength again for the first time since the pandemic on the video side, which is really good. So that is something that we've talked at length about with our creative director and our head of digital, and we would love to do that. We're in such a unique case here in Raleigh, where there really isn't. We do get great coverage, but it's a lot of sports coverage in our market is split between the colleges. There's a lot of things for the TV news people to cover. So we have to tell our own stories. So we would love to be able to be in position to do that. I think our fans would love it because our players have a lot of personality. So now that the YouTube channel is back, and credit to Matt and his social team for getting that, reviving it. Really, they worked really hard on that. we feel it can be a great avenue for us now that we're developing some processes that allow for consistent uploads on there. And then once we get through or get into the off season, we can start ideating around, all right, what's the right way and the best way to build these types of things. We did talk to some people at the Wild about how they do that, and they have a lot of resource dedicated to it, but they do a really, really good job.
Oh yeah, no, like
even emulating a little bit of that would be amazing. So
yeah, they do such a great job in that. Yeah, because I remember the day when you guys just started just dumping all the videos on the YouTube channel. I'm like, hold up, time out. We might be onto something here. Yeah, it's just the way the Wild do it is so great, and it's just like Columbus has done it, Boston and stuff like that. It seems like it's good to have because for me, it's like everyone loves watching the team and stuff like that too. But it's like, I don't know, something about behind the scenes, just getting kind of to know the guys off of that too. It's like it brings in more of the human aspect rather than this guy's just playing hockey. It's like, well, no, here's a little something extra, to get to
absolutely.
See.
And our front office and Tom Dundon especially are so good and thoughtful and caring about providing us with great access, which we love being in the locker room after games and when it makes sense, and there's other projects that have allowed us to get behind the scenes, but being able to do it consistently would be great for us, great for our fans, and to your point, Zach, it makes you feel even closer to the players when you get more insight to their personality and their behavior, and these guys are great. They're all really, really good people that deserve to be celebrated for how they operate. And they're silly too sometimes.
Not naming names or anything, but
Well, I know it's like this season, and it's with everyone that I've talked to, whether it's people that have come in as like newer fans or people that have been fans for like a long time. Like everyone has talked about how your creative team, like the market, everything is just like it's so been good. Like it's been I've loved it forever, but like this season just like a step above. Like
the playoff stuff's gonna be amazing. The playoff stuff.
That's why everyone is so excited and asking about the YouTube and talking about all this stuff, just because we're like, okay, so we see how awesome this is, so everyone's just so excited to be like, all right, can we get more? Can we get more?
Thank you for the kind words. That really does mean a lot because I know they all work very, very hard, and we're like with a lot of things, we're happy but never satisfied. There's so much more that we can be doing to get better, but there's some cool stuff they have lined up for the playoffs, and I'm excited. I saw some of the music they're going to be using and some of the shots that they worked on with the set for the playoffs, and it's cool stuff. I think it'll be really cool. I know it kind of has a bit of an American Horror Story vibe this season, and
love it.
And it works.
Love it.
What we're doing. There's like that haunted oak tree that I see pop up on Reddit now and again from the open video.
That was so great. That was just fantastic.
Even just the
graphics, the playoff graphics are going to be so great, especially for every game.
That and just too. The timing, every time I love the opening video with the players, but the timing when it just hits the beat, little bit of a beat drop, and it seems a lot. Brent Burns. I'm like, you get Brent Burns that perfect moment.
I know, it's chills.
That's really kind of you guys to say, and I'll make sure I pass that along to our team because they work hard, and sometimes they don't take enough time to sit back and just realize how special they are and how talented they are, and what they're doing for the fans. It's kind of like project, and they're great. But I'll pass that along because I know it means a lot to them. They're the most critical of their work out of anybody. So to hear something nice is good for them.
As creatives are, because we're like when you're staring at it like right here, you see this. You have to like pull back and be like, oh, I made something really cool. Now I see like all of it.
Oh yeah, especially last year because I know like every time you guys were dropping the play, just like the game graphic for just that like. Game one of round whatever, everyone was just. I think I forget. I knew the Eastern Conference Final. Like everyone was like, okay, forget what's going on the ice. It's just a graphic like battle between you guys and Florida.
SportsCenter picked it up, and like that's unheard of. So
it was. It's like you guys were just dropping like, oh, here's a tooth and an iceberg. Here's like coming after the Panthers a little bit, or it's like the boxing gloves with New Jersey. It's just and that's when we clinched. I saw everyone's gone. All right, bring us the playoff graphics because they're going to be nice. So
we're working to find that right balance between the really polished stuff and then some of the more raw, like the New Jersey cameo video.
That was so great.
Don't have to worry about that this year. Don't have to worry about that this year.
I mean, but who knows? There's plenty of celebrities in Philadelphia and on Long Island. So no, I don't think we can do
Pittsburgh.
That
Pittsburgh, yeah.
I don't know. There's some trouble if we do that one twice. So we were sitting on that idea for years. So
It was
I'm
just
glad we're able
perfect.
to do it. Yeah, but still balancing some of that stuff
Mhm.
with the polished creative is kind of what we're trying to do here. So, but thank you for the kind words.
Of course.
How is
Stay tuned
I
for
have a
some
couple
cool
of
stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
fire away.
we're so excited.
Mhm.
I have a couple more questions for you. So two kind of tie together. Some people were asking about, and I went to the one that we had during the season. So I think everyone's kind of thinking, because I know it was a trial run, but like playoff
Mhm.
watch parties at PNC for
Yeah,
away
yeah.
games. Do you have any insight on that you could share,
Yeah, I
maybe?
mean, I know that's stuff that we would obviously love to do, and we kind of tested how that would work with an STM event this year. I believe it was during a game against, I think, Minnesota. I want to say a month or two ago.
I believe it was.
Yeah,
Yes, I think so.
I
and
was there and I can't remember.
yeah,
And I think it probably
Okay.
was Minnesota. I think it was
everybody.
Minnesota or someone like that. Yeah, but I remember you guys were doing
So we
one
got
of
a
those
feel
things.
for how that would work, and should the Canes advance, I think, to the finals, I think that's something you would see.
Ooh,
But as I understand it, Carolina Hill House will continue to be the watch party location for the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. And if the Canes are fortunate enough to go further, that is something we would certainly explore, just to bring people here and bring them together for a road game. I love the visual of all those people coming together to watch the team when they're not even on the ice. So I know that's something that we'd all be really excited to be a part of, or perhaps there'd be options too, or we could do stuff around Raleigh or Cary or wherever where there's some open spaces where we could host some other events there too. So
oh yeah, like amphitheaters or something
yeah,
with a big screen.
it'd
I
be great.
know. Yeah, I know some teams did it. I know for during if they were doing the watch parties at the arenas, like they were able to project like on the actual ice of like what's like the numbers of
Yeah,
where all the guys
yeah,
were at on the
yeah.
ice too. The
We have some of that
kind of
technology too, so it would be
yeah.
sick to do that, just to
That
see.
would be so nice to be able to like watch on the screen and then look at the ice and actually see all
Oh
the
yeah.
action still going on.
And
Oh, that would be
selfishly, as a fan, I mean, look, I'm a huge caniac as well. Once I, go home at night, I can be a fan again, and just to be able to, like, I don't travel with the team. That those spots are rightfully reserved for our content producers who are just telling the story. But like, I would want to be there at PNC Arena with the fans too, and my family experiencing that. And like, imagine in a world where if we are lucky and the hockey gods are good to us, that we're in the finals,
please.
and maybe you're in a spot where you can clinch on the road. Like, it'd be a lot more fun to experience that with a whole bunch of people just like you cheering in the same way. Then being at home on your couch, that's fun too. But hockey is one thing I've learned about it. It's best enjoyed with others.
I can.
Well,
Yeah,
we talk about how we love to tailgate. So like even
Yeah.
away games where like again, like you said, like if you had a big screen up somewhere, even honestly, even if it's in PNC parking lot and you just get a big
Yeah.
Oh,
screen
yeah.
projecting
Yeah,
out there,
yeah.
the people that would roll up and
all
like
the tailgates
people,
would be
Absolutely.
epic.
it's like all the people like again, the team's being really successful, so we've all
Yeah.
seen the little increase in playoff tickets. So like for people that are just like I can't do that, but I want to experience it. That
Yeah.
with the community and the tailgating, oh my
It
gosh,
would be so much
people
fun.
would go
I mean,
Yeah.
nuts.
the closest we got to that outside of that little test we did this year was, I think, in 2019 or 18 or something, we had the watch parties at Carolina Hill House spill out into a street, and we had tons of people watching it that way. So, obviously, the more people you can get together to enjoy hockey, the better.
No, I completely agree. As being at the game where they won the cup in 06, yeah, it's a whole different atmosphere when you can like just enjoy that in person, winning the whole
Yeah.
thing in the barn. Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with you. Just being in person,
Yeah.
a million times. I mean, winning is great, but being in person, a million times better. Yeah, but
That's what it's all about.
Cat might be onto some with the tailgates, the tailgating parties. Oh, those
big
would
part
be
of our brand.
I mean,
popular.
You got some little nice weather out there. I mean, you're there kind of
Bring out the
chilling, maybe
s'mores truck from
baking a
Lowe's.
little bit while the
There you
sun's
go.
out.
Yeah,
but
there you go,
then-
Dan. Yeah.
We got the backyard bistro truck now too. That's part of the Canes family, so that could be something that you can't cook. I will push that though too. The backyard bistro is doing something pretty cool starting in the playoffs, where they'll put together a tailgate package for you, where you can just pick it up there, or soon they may deliver it right to your spot. But you can pick it up
there
on
you
the
go.
way when you pull in a PNC Arena parking lot, and they'll cover all of it. And I know that they're working to even enhance their menu further. So that's something that
I mean,
you can
I'd be down
find out
for
more
that. I
information
don't
on the
always-
Hurricanes website.
I mean,
But yeah, hey, I don't have time to cook, so give me a big old weekend of barbecue and you bring.
I don't have
Why
time
not?
to bring a grill with me. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
I just
exactly.
I don't have that time. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Just pick up the backyard bistro, you're good to go.
Yeah, there you go.
So many great
Yeah,
options.
hashtag ad right there, but no, they do a good job with that, and that's something that we'll be pushing a little bit during the playoffs.
I mean,
Are
hey
we-
Dan, we need sponsors for the podcast. Just let us know, Dan.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I mean, would we also? I mean, we did talk about how the app has some updates. Or is the app going to have any more maybe playoff updates? If there is anything with Backyard Bistro, we can get in touch with them through there.
Well, there are some new updates in there, and there should be. Let me see if it's live here too. We'll do this in real time. I believe a really cool playoff section that our digital team worked pretty hard to build out. I'm going to see right now if it's ready to go. Let's see. Game day. Oh, that might be something we can push live once the playoffs start. Right. Okay. So it's hidden right now. So spoilers, really cool playoff section to be live then. But there are a couple things we're looking at, whether it's interactive things that tie into the game if you're at the arena. And also, as I understand it, Shake Shack will now be working with mobile concession ordering. So that'll take it to, I think, 3 locations, one at Papa, I forget the other one, and Shake Shack. I'm a sucker for those fries too. Like I think I went to like 2 games this year, but the fries on 3 at one at Papa, those are really, really good. So highly recommend those.
I mean, if that's a mobile ordering and I don't have to go all the way up to the 3rd floor, and they can.
You won't do delivery yet, but you'll be able to.
No, Dan.
No lines. You in and out real quick, and
okay.
then But no, that would be cool. And I know some organizations have been able to do that. We're still working on kind of phase 1, which is just making sure we get the orders to the right people, and order on your phone so you can skip the line.
Okay. I mean, I'm down for that because I'm the person who's superstitious where like my butt needs to be back in the seat when the game's going. So I'm like, if I got to run for that food.
Want to hire some fry runners or something for in the future. Maybe Stormy can help with that.
He'll just pop around. You'll be like, there's Stormy. Oh, he's giving people fries. All right.
What a good pick.
So just a few more questions. One is, how can the team's marketing and fans work together to convince the NHL and its media partners to give the Canes more attention? How do we prevent situations like Aho being excluded from the All-Star competition, skills competition? And can we start a campaign to get Jarvis in the Amazon series?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many layers to that too. And I was in league meetings last year. I think we talked about this last time on the podcast, where one of the conversations was how can the league continue to elevate how they market players specifically, because they feel that's an important angle to engage fans and grow the brand. And my argument to that, this was before this season, was we need to find every team Seth Jarvis. Like, where at the time, Seth was coming off a solid season, but he wasn't a household name, and he's still growing as a player. And then obviously cut to this year when he's like one of the best guys on the team,
and on every podcast imaginable right now.
Like a great personality. Like, you got to find the people with personality, because some players can be superstar talent and have a personality that doesn't really lend itself well to media attention. And some people can be the opposite, and some people can be a nice blend of both. But I think the NHL would benefit from investing airtime in the players that, okay, they might not be the A+ superstar hockey player, but their personality more than makes up for that. And in today's day and age, with today's markets and audiences, that counts almost just as well. I mean, the most casual fan, a few of the superstars, but after that, you don't really know who's good and who's not good unless where they're playing, on the lines. So market the personalities, and that's how you attract people. So I think the NHL is getting it. Obviously, we saw Seth go over to some some of the league content events where he did like the lie detector thing. But he's just great. We're blessed with so many great personalities on our team. But I know the NHL is actively working to improve and grow how they market players and in each team. And then there's a few things that I've heard they're working on that we'll kind of answer some of those questions soon, hopefully, if done right. But I don't disagree at all. The all-star voting aside, I still think, it kind of sometimes feels like the Canes are a really well-kept secret, because you've been to games here, and I didn't grow up here at all. And I didn't grow up a hockey fan either. When I went to my first playoff game here, and I was working at the time, but just to be blown away with the tailgating and the sheer volume of the fans, like how loud they are, it's the loudest sporting event I've ever been to, and that's something that these fans are for real. And I know a lot of people had to try to discount them because, it's in North Carolina and the team's only been around for a while, and you should have been the Whalers still. And it's, I think a lot of people will continue to learn even 6 years after, when we started making playoffs consistently, that there's a lot of passion here. And it's stupid. I hear it from players all the time too. There was a few guys that came for like an STM autograph event, and they were blown away by just how long the lines were. Like, we don't see this. And I'm not going to say what team they were referencing, but we didn't see that there. And I was like, well, yeah, this is different here. So I think time is time and effort is probably the best way to solve that. And time is always going to be on our side, where we have more time to grow more fans and new generations of fans. And then hopefully the NHL continues to evolve in their approach and be welcoming to raise the floor rather than just try to dance on the ceiling.
I mean, if the Stadium Series last year didn't really prove how much this fan base loves this team, I mean,
that's special. And I think you'll probably see another event like that here in the future. I don't know when, but like that, the NHL was impressed with how our fans sold out faster than any other Stadium Series before, how they showed up, the crowd, just the vibe and the atmosphere of it. I would be, if I'm a betting man, I bet that happens again sometime in the next decade.
Yeah, just go to Fanatics responsibly.
Which one of our questions was, when can we expect a Stadium Series DVD or Blu-ray?
Oh yeah, it's a good question. I mean, do people buy DVDs still? Like, I don't know.
I've seen. I mean, I
on demand is what
have not.
Yeah.
But I mean,
people have gaming systems that can play DVDs.
That's true.
Unless the Canes suddenly start, that they're starting a streaming service that we're not aware of. This might be how people are going to watch it.
Nothing's in the works there yet, anyway. But that's a good thought. I mean, I know a lot of stuff's on YouTube, but maybe it's a question of we put some stuff together for that, maybe on the 2-year anniversary or something, the Stadium Series, because there is a lot of good footage of it. Just being able to watch that game in full is fun.
Oh, yes.
So
being there was different, but being able to watch it on.
It's a good idea, though, Kat. I like it.
Yeah, because I remember you guys, because I have the 2006 DVD of the championship when they did it, and it's always it's on YouTube as well, but just some people just to put it in and just watch it.
Yeah,
it's always.
I had that DVD too, and we found a whole box of them a year or two ago, just in some storeroom, and it was like 200 of those DVDs.
Oh my god! I bet those would sell so fast. They would sell so fast.
Yeah, I gotta see. I don't know if we got rid of them. It might have been sold in the yard sale. I don't know. I have to check with retail, but it was like a ton of them in some like weird hidden closet.
That's so weird. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I know a lot of people have Blu-rays, or like, some people have gaming systems where they can put the disc in. So yeah, I don't know.
Maybe in the when we have our second
series. VHS tape, so
yeah, and that'd be fun. Doing a VHS of maybe our 06 run and our 2024 run would be really cool.
Yes. Yeah. I like where your head's at, Dan. 2024 run. Yes.
90s night giveaway. Yeah.
There we go.
And then the last question is a little bit more just about you. I know we did cover it like the last time you were on here, but I mean, again, as soon as we announce you're here, everyone wants to talk to you, Dan. You are the man that everyone, like, you're working in the shadows, and everyone, as soon as we're like, oh, we've got him, actually a video of him, everyone gets really excited.
It's like 3
so what is your
that's Dan.
I believe, I want to make sure. Morgan said, what is your favorite part of what you do, and why did you choose to go into sports marketing, and have you always liked hockey?
I'll go backwards first. No, I haven't always liked hockey.
I heard you mention it a minute ago, so I was like, I know he'll know that one.
It's like
I grew up, as you guys may have heard, a very big Yankees fan. That is the reason I work in sports, because culturally and family-wise, that's what was passed down to me. And the Yankees were also really, really good in the mid-90s when I was like, I got 3rd, 4th grade. And then it was something that me and my grandfather would do. We'd look at the box scores every day. We talk about it constantly. And my dad and I would watch it and go to games. And I was a lousy baseball player, so that never stuck. But just culturally, being an Italian in North Jersey when the Yankees were good, when your dad and your grandpa grew up on like Joe DiMaggio, and then I had Jeter and all this other stuff, you have no choice but to be into it. And because of that, I didn't really follow any other sports. Like I watched the Giants a little bit here and there, but always was a big baseball fan. So I didn't really pay any attention to hockey. And then my first game I ever went to was not until I worked for Brooklyn Sports Entertainment back in 2017, when they managed operations for the Islanders. So part of my job responsibility, a small part of it, was helping support the Islanders in some ways. But really, it was like the smallest part. I spent so much more time with the Nets and boxing and concerts that I went to a game and I was like, all right, it's cool, it's fun, I'm gonna go home. But I didn't let the light that is hockey into my life until I got here. I did go to that one game in 2015 or 16 was here. That was a social media night, but I came for a pre-event thing, stuck around for a little bit, talking to some of the Canes staff, and then kind of drove back to Charlotte. It's such a long drive. I mean, 2 hours was long then. I guess it's not that long. But even so, to answer that question, no, I didn't grow up a hockey fan. And I think that has helped me in this job in a lot of ways, because I have been able to look at it from a perspective of someone who is new to the sport, like many people are now, whether they're transplants coming here or they're just, we have hardcore fans on the team, and we have people on staff that have the history part of it. I think you need to embrace a lot of different perspectives in order to attract more people. So I try to look at things as a sport of a different fan. And look, I've come to embrace hockey in a lot of good ways. But I think that perspective has helped me take different approaches with how we handle certain things, because hockey is a notoriously conservative and traditional sport, which is crazy to me, because there is so much that's exciting and fast and engaging about it, that for the culture side of it to be a little bit more behind that, it was always wild. But now I would definitely consider myself a hockey fan. My kids, especially my son, who's 3, is obsessed with the Canes. Like every night he wants to watch videos on the app, or he'll go through our player headshot list that we use for our marketing shoot, and he'll be like, there's Brady Shea, there's Jalen Chatfield, there's Jesperi Kotkaniemi. This kid doesn't even know his alphabet yet, and he's like picking out players by their faces, and he knows all of them. And it's silly. I remember he did a video with Stormy when he for Thanksgiving a couple of months ago now, and he's such a nervous kid, but when Stormy came out, he was like, he loves Stormy. So he went over and he pulled out that piece of paper, and he was like pointing and telling Stormy who all the players were. And I could hear Stormy laughing a little bit. I know Stormy doesn't make a lot of noise, but I can hear him laughing about just the ridiculousness of this little tiny boy, this little tiny boy's being like, and there's Aho, he's my favorite. There's Brady Shea, that's mommy's favorite. And here's this one. And this one. We all are favorite players, it's, I love them all. That was cute. So to answer the first part of the question, has become one of my favorite aspects of this job is to give my family my kids this enjoyment that, one, I didn't grow up with. That is something that I didn't expect, and it's become very special. Just something where there's a lot of pride there, and there's a lot of excitement. My kids are doing anything involving the Canes, whether it's watching them or talking about them or anything. But the thing that ultimately I love the most about this job, column A, is the people I get to work with. That's what keeps me here. I have such a love, respect for my staff and my team and people in this organization that I want to do my best for them, because they're doing their best too. We all want to just grow this game, this team, and this market, and I truly enjoy being around them. But what I really truly enjoy the most is playing a small role in building that connection between the team / brand and fan. Like, we're just conduits, and we're a piece of the puzzle that hopefully can help really expand and enhance that love that any fan has for the team, or start that spark, and to be supporting that and to be a sure of that is really, really fortunate. So that's what I love the most. Sports is all about connection and identity, and to give people that identity and to help them build that connection. We're lucky. So I love that. That's kind of the gushy, mushy answer of that piece there. But didn't grow up watching hockey. Love it now. Still love baseball a whole lot, but hockey's up there. I mean, if there's nothing on TV, or if there's no baseball games on, or if the Yankees aren't on, for example, I'm watching other hockey games. I'll see, all right, what are the Rangers and Flyers doing, or whatever else. So I've come a long way. 12-year-old me would not expect that from 37-year-old me. So that's fun. And there was a third part to that question too. I think I totally just beefed and missed it.
Yeah. So it was, what's your favorite part of what you do? Why did you go into sports marketing? And have you always liked hockey?
I went to college to be a teacher, and I sucked at that. And I always wanted to work in sports, but it was almost like that, like distant dream, like, oh, it'd be so cool if I could work in baseball. And I just woke up one day and was like, I'm not good at teaching, and I don't want my whole life to be in a classroom. So I'm going to try this sports thing. And I tried to be a sports writer, and I sucked at that too. But at least put a lot of effort into it. And after a couple of years of writing blogs and writing for magazines and newspapers, I was like, all right, let's go try to get a job in sports media covering baseball in New York City. And that didn't work out. So I fell into marketing with some agencies, and I didn't let the dream of wanting to work in sports die, because I did love that connection. And so I started gaining some marketing skills, and I married that with my passion for what sports is as a business. And the rest is history. Now I'm, I think, 14 years in, and I have 6 whole photos of myself at the job, as we learned this week. But it's been a good run, and hopefully I have a few more good runs left in me too. So there's been some special moments, and I think the most special one is when the Canes won or clinched the playoff berth. My first season here that was the 2018-2019 season. Like the press box at PNC Arena is open air, and to look at all these people, like, and watch them all learn that we had clinched because it was contingent upon another game and the outcome there. And we're winning ours. The other game was working out the right way. And then watching this, just the hugs and the high fives and everything, the embraces. And then to hear, like, when it finally made it to the video board, like, the fans just go nuts. It was so special to be swept up in that. So that is something that I'll remember forever. The Panthers going to the Super Bowl was really cool too. That's a close second, but nothing matches being swept up with the fans there and just kind of sharing in their enjoyment for finally being back in the playoffs. So that was special. So that's why we do it. You know, that's why we're lucky enough to be part of what we do. And I have one big thing left on my bucket list, and that's to enjoy a championship season. So there's plenty of things I can do professionally, and I want to help this team with, but I want to see what this. I want to watch this community enjoy a parade, enjoy a cup. Again, these fans are amazing, and they deserve it. So I'm really hopeful that this is the year that we get to see that happen.
And plus, another great photo opportunity for you to update the photo album a little bit.
I'll get one more. Yeah, exactly.
Get one more in with the cup, and it's all good. And
that'll be a photo I use for all of the podcasts. Every time I'm on the SurgeCast, we'll use that photo.
Fantastic. Yeah. The fact, being able to do another parade would be absolutely amazing, because unfortunately I missed the 06 one just for being in a different state. And for like, that one was fun, but Dan, like the second one, when it happens this year, we're just going to put it out there. It's going to be this year. When it happens, I cannot imagine what Raleigh is going to be like around PNC, even in downtown. Like the parade route, it's going to be so long. It's going to be like
we're going
15 miles
triangle. Yeah, so we're just keep it going.
Just keep the party going. And it's like, I cannot imagine how many people are going to show up for that. Like, it's just going to be packed out. Like, you've seen what Chicago does, or what Vegas did, or all these other teams. But it's like, I don't know, something about Raleigh's going to be insane.
Parade in 09 when the Yankees won, and I think whatever we do here in Raleigh is going to top that by a mile. So.
Oh, a million, yeah. As the only the top end professional team in the area, it's going to be like every hotel within 40 miles is probably going to be sold out. This is going to be an absolute madhouse, but it's going to be a fun party for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, fingers crossed, knock on wood, that
that stuff.
The season might end that way. We can go out and share a winning beer with Dan.
in a giant hockey stick mug.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The only way to do it is celebrating at a tailgate with some beer sticks, because that's the Raleigh way. That's the Raleigh way to do it. So
absolutely.
Oh man.
Well, thank you, Dan, for joining us again. Honestly, all of the I was like, oh yeah, we've got a couple of questions, but we got some great questions for you, and your answers, as always, are just so insightful and helpful. And please pass on all the kind words as well to your team, because I mean, what part of what makes the Hurricane, yes, the on ice performance and the players and everything, but the atmosphere is only it grows, and it's so much more electric because of what your team does through videos, photos, behind the scenes, all of that stuff.
They work hard, so I appreciate the kind words, because they really care about what they do, and they really do care about the fans. So thank you for the kind words, and I will absolutely pass it along, or they'll listen to the podcast and we'll hear it there too.
Yeah,
Yes.
either way, both.
Hopefully both. Hopefully
Yeah.
both.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
I'll tell them to listen to the podcast, but also tell them that I'm proud of them, because I am proud of every single one.
I definitely know, Dan, for sure. We would love to have your team on, if it's just individually or get some of them together.
You
as
don't
a
want that.
group.
It'd be chaos. That's okay. No, maybe.
You know what? Hey, we're all about chaos. What are you talking about, Dan? That's what the whole brand is.
That's true.
I do understand some of them though. If they want to stay behind the scenes, it's totally cool. I
totally
do
understand that.
Eventually, we do want to. Is it Jack that does the graphics? Because we got to know his graphic wars are going to be coming up again soon. So
yeah. It's just even your video crew, just the whole team behind the scenes. We would love to get if any of them, just let them know if any of them want to come on. Just let us know. We would love to be able to talk to them and pick their brains and just put a face to someone to the behind the scenes crew of what they do.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you for having me. Enjoy the game tonight, and I'll see you all in the playoffs.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go Canes, and I hope you have again. Congratulations too with the new addition to your family.
Yes,
there's been a new addition since we last had you, so congratulations on that. Another Canes fan is born. Yankees Canes fan.
Canes Yankees. Let's go Canes Yankees. We'll do it that way.
She's a Raleigh citizen first, so she's a third huge caniac. So now we're looking forward to that, and I'll drop a picture in our group chat, because I had a funny story about her and her first Canes game. Not here. I haven't taken her here yet. I'm not doing that for a while, but I'll share the story in the group chat. It needs photo support, as does everything. But hey, thank you for having me. Appreciate you all very much, and go Canes.
Yes, thanks, Dan.
Have a good one. Canes. It's always great having Dan the man on, but now we got to talk about our lovely sponsors as well. I don't know about you, Zach, but with the lovely weather coming out and it's just feeling like summertime, I'm so excited to get tickets to concerts, to baseball games, everything. I'm so now it's time to play. Winter's done, spring is going into summer. I'm ready. And so, we just have to talk about our sponsor. Shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring us. We recently became brand ambassadors for them, and they are a ticket app that takes the confusion out of buying tickets. And we have had a lot of people tell us that they've actually helped them with their first ticket purchases recently. They put a 0 to 10 score on each ticket to know if you're getting a good or a bad deal. Of course, green is good and bad is red. And all of our viewers will get $20 off their first ticket purchase with the code TheSurgeCast. And of course, who doesn't like a Sebastian Aho deal? I feel like that's our lucky number for Canes fans and for all of our sponsors. $20 off, 20% off. It's always great. So so $20 off for your first ticket purchase with our code TheSurgeCast. Let us know if you use it. Let us know where you go. If we go see a concert, if you go see a game, let us know. Because again, I am ready to go get my extroverted self on and go do all these fun activities. So shout out to SeatGeek for making it a little bit easier to afford this.
100%. Yeah, like you said, with the concerts coming up, and of course, with Durham Bulls, Carolina Mudcats just in the area and everything else like that. There's going to be a lot of great options for anyone to get tickets to any certain event. Even Hurricanes playoff tickets might still be a possibility too. So who knows?
Yeah, and of course, with all the money that you're saving on your SeatGeek tickets, maybe you want to use some of that money to go bet on some sporting events. Because, of course, we have to talk about DraftKings as well. We know hockey games move fast, but with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you can score faster than anything happening on the ice. This week, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. That that $5 that you saved with your $20 off of SeatGeek tickets. But so what are some of the games looking like this weekend, Zach?
Yeah, so if anyone's looking for certain games to look at for tomorrow, one that could be really, really interesting if you want to place a little something on, it's the Boston Bruins and the Pittsburgh Penguins. I know the Bruins are in, but Pittsburgh is trying to make that little extra push to make the playoffs, especially since they got the wild 2 card spot as of right now.
I wouldn't be mad seeing the Penguins. I wouldn't be mad seeing them. That'd be really that'd be a nice little change of pace.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't when I don't get the Islanders right now, honestly, I wouldn't mind the Penguins just because you think of all the storylines of Jay Gensel and Michael Bunting playing their former teams after the trade. You know, I think it'd be kind of fun. Just the storylines alone would make that series fun. But if you're looking at the Bruins Penguins game tomorrow night or today, when you listen to it at 8, when the game's at 8:10, from what this thing is saying, the money line for the Penguins is at plus 114 and the Bruins are minus 135. And in terms of the puck lines at plus 1.5 for the Penguins at minus 225, and then a minus 1.5 for the Bruins is a plus 185. And if you're looking at the over under, it's actually set at 6 with the Penguins at a minus 115 and the Boston Bruins at over 6, which is a minus 105. So yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to place your bets because look at the games that happened last night. I would not have been able to tell you who is going to win because I tried to bet on some goalies for my fantasy and that did not work out so well. So
we tried to get you a good matchup for goaltenders and Maroons.
The only thing I can advise is honestly for me, bet responsibly, but also kind of bet on the safe bet if you are going to do it. But of course, you can do all of this through download the DraftKings Sportsbook app with the code THBN. New customers bet just $5 in the NHL and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with the code THBN. The crown is yours. Do it responsibly, folks. That's all we ask.
Yes, please do it responsibly. And of course, the last sponsor we got to talk about is the OG since day one, even before we even had an episode out for the SurgeCast. We got to talk about Primux Hockey. When you go to PrimexHockey.com, use code SurgeCast to get your 20% off discount on your order. I mean, like you said, Kat, $20 off, 20% off. It's all coming up Sebastian Aho for our discounts here at the SurgeCast. And if you're looking to help support local business, Primux Hockey is the one to do it. 1401 East Stakes Drive, 15 minutes from the arena. They're open Monday through Saturday. Why not check out their stuff? They got sticks, they got skates, they got protectors for, said skates or even for sticks, indoor and outdoor pucks. They even got scented wax. Some might glow in the dark too. You never know. They got hats, koozies, flags, any type of merchandise you can think of. They even got a skate sharpener that you can get your skates taken care of for $5 if your kid plays hockey, or if you just, do a recreational, you like to skate recreationally and have fun. Why not check it out there as well? And like I said, you're helping support local, shop local, because that's all we care about. You're helping a Raleigh-based company who are season ticket members of the Hurricanes. So you're even helping them out even more. If you can't get there, they do have free shipping online if you want to go check that out as well on PrimexHockey.com. Like I said, just use SurgeCast at checkout for 20% off your order. And if you do go to the store, let them know that the SurgeCast sent you. Maybe they'll hook you up with something there as well, possibly. But they're a great group over there. We've so blessed to have them as our sponsor for things is episode 117 in total. So big shout out to them for just being here the whole time. But PrimexHockey.com. Use SurgeCast at checkout for 20% off your order. Or like I said, 1401 East Dix Drive, right there in Raleigh, 10 minutes from the arena. Why not? Go check them out Monday through Saturday.
You're gonna have some good tailgating experience coming up. So getting some fun stuff to play with out there in the parking lot for your kids is
they might have some stuff to hook you up with for some outdoor pucks. So why not?
So that was a good word from all of our wonderful sponsors. There's not much more we can add to this episode. Dan, honestly, the first part of it was so great. We could honestly talk to him this whole time, but we do want to give a little recap of the previous games and then what to look forward to because we're at the end stretch here. We are at the end stretch and it's wild. We have made it through 81 games? No.
We have 3 games. 79. There's 79 games. So for time frame, we are recording the day of the Blues game in the early afternoon. When this comes out, the game's already going to happen, so we're not going to throw out any of the predictions for that night because we're probably going to be wrong. So when everyone does listen to this, we're going to have 2 games left with Chicago on Sunday and the Blackhawks.
We'll be at 80
Tuesday.
games. Yes. So
So as we're recording at 79, when this drops, it'll be 80. So yeah, we're pretty much 82nd through the season when this drops.
And so the last time we talked, obviously, it was at the beginning of April. And we got April, honestly. So the first part, a little rocky, but I mean, always the Canes coming off some rest is somehow never good.
Yeah. Because I think we recorded like that morning of the Boston game to kick off April. Yeah, so it's been a little bit.
And we're not going to dwell too much on that game because honestly, it was you played some shaky hockey against a really good hockey team. You got down, and then the puck luck just didn't ever came your way to get back into it. And you know what?
Jeremy Swayman, man.
Puck happens. It's fine. It's fine.
It's Jeremy Swayman. I don't know what to say. It's just that guy.
So then, of course, we had the Capitals. What a comeback! It was beautiful. I had a friend in town, first game to experience, and honestly, what a game! I got a little nervous there at the.
It's always the last few games have been the Capitals. It's always been the Capitals the last few times we play these guys. It's like it's a little too close for my comfort.
Yeah. And of course, that's like all the teams that are fighting for the wild card. Like, not the Canes never stop fighting to like finish the season strong, but those teams always fight a little more tooth and nail.
Yeah.
And of course, then we had the Blue Jackets, which overall just very, very fun game.
It was just utter dominance. I mean, I don't really know, like when you hold them to single digit shots every single period. I don't really know what more you can say for the fact that the team just played really well. You know, I think that was Freddie in net. No, Piotr in net because Piotr did Boston, Freddie did Washington. Yeah, so I mean, a great bounce back game for Piotr. You know how Boston goes in and just shuts the door on Columbus. Can't be too upset about it. And like, hey, Andrei Svechnikov, that was a quick one to start that game too. I mean.
Yeah, wow. He had a little bout of illness, and Svech is coming back. And like, honestly, what can you say? But that's so Svech. Like, he came back real quick.
He saw the comments. He saw the comments.
He saw the comments, and he came in hot. So he came in with that quick goal, and then you're like, you know what? How's Svech going to come back? Like, that was great. Is he going to keep it up? Boston saw the Svech that we all have been waiting to see all season. That goal was nasty.
Yeah,
and again, you can't say Swayman again without being sorry, Swayman. But your goal of never getting a lacrosse goal on you, down the toilet.
Yeah, that's why you have the fact that you lose to Boston 4-1 with Swayman in net in Carolina. Then you go to Boston, it's Swayman in net again, and then you drop a 4-1 on them. And the fact that Svech did it, no one realized he scored it, even though he knew. And they're like, "Oh no, that was good." And it's just like, okay. All right, it's Andre's like, yeah, you know what? Let me just score in back-to-back games, no problem. Here's a lacrosse goal, just because. I mean, that was nasty. That was like, that's how sick it was.
It was, yeah, and of course, you get asked like, is he like which one of your favorite? And he says the first goal, of course. The first lacrosse goal will always be Svech's favorite. It's the first time he did it. I know a lot of people were being like, I mean, you got to call it the Svech. He was the first one to do it, guys. He was the first one to do it. I know after that, then Zegras did it a whole bunch. But, like, it's a very different, like, to be able to do that on a very, no offense to the Ducks, but on a very high competing team is very different than being a one-skilled player on a team that is on a very big rebuilding arc. Against
who have also been rumored to shop him around. I'm just saying they have been talking about shopping him around. But I mean, if we're talking about that game, we have to talk about a huge milestone on that night. Not because of the fact that the Hurricanes also did get their third consecutive season getting 50 wins, but I think we talked to this guy a lot with Dan, and I think it's one Seth Jarvis getting goal number 30 for the first time in his career, and the way he did it. Of course, it had to be a shorthanded goal. Because why not? Why not a shorty?
And the most Jarvis way of just not giving up on the play, like just not give. Like he could have just left it there and skated back, but he was like, nope.
Takes the initial shot, races around the net, beats his guy, gets it on his backhand, and just backhands it past Swayman, and it's just like, we talked about how nasty the Such goal was. That whole sequence from Jarvis, just the way he came, he came out of a rocket, shot, went around, got it, and put it back in for his 30. Like it had to be a shorty. Like, is there any
I'm
other
just
way
really
for Seth
happy.
Jarvis to score a goal?
I'm just really happy that goal and Such's goal, and honestly the overall win of the game. Like I'm happy that is what we take away from that game, because coming into that game, I was a little late to the broadcast because I had some things going on, but just hearing from multiple people that the refs were a main storyline there for a little bit with a goal that wasn't a goal. I'm glad that the skill is what we were talking about coming out of that game, rather than you got cheated out of a win by something like that. So love that, honestly. And then I'm also gonna love these next couple of games. We've got the Blues, the Blackhawks, and the Blue Jackets. I think we're gonna see a little bit of fun hockey here before going into the playoffs.
I think we will. I know the Blues game. I know when everyone watches this is going to be afterwards. I'm not going to be surprised if that game is going to be chippy for the fact that the Blues technically still have a shot to get into the playoffs, and they're going to come out really, guns blazing.
I am kind of sorry. I think it would be the funniest storyline ever if they could kick the Vegas Knights out of a playoff spot. I wish that could happen. I'm sorry, you have to play us for that to happen.
It's fine. I've seen a lot of Blues fans be like, hey, just take us to overtime, let us get to win, and we'll act like you guys didn't lay down for us. And I'm like, good luck with that.
I was like, I'm sorry, do you know Rod Brindamore?
Yeah, no, it's like we're not going to try to get to overtime. We're going to make this end real fast. And it's tough when you get Carolina. It's like, oh, we have a 0.3% chance to make the playoffs. We just got to win out. Then I'm like, I look at the schedule. It's like, yeah, you got Carolina game one of that whole stretch. I don't know, and I'm hoping I don't get roasted for how this podcast comes out afterwards, but I guess we'll see. But it's Jordan Binnington's in that too.
We're not betting people, but I mean, we're gonna bet that the Canes will show up. I mean, they have been showing up. There's only been a couple games here and there, and again, it was after like a long stretch of time, like a long break or something like that. But I think they'll show up today.
Yeah, well, I know the last time they played was like they was in Carolina, was in a shootout. And Binnington was in net. He's in it again on tonight, where last night, whenever people listen to this. So, and the funny thing is, the goalie in that game was Antti Raanta, and we're gonna get Freddie tonight. So, yeah,
it's gonna be an interesting one. But yeah, like I said, we're at the end stretch here. We're very excited. You're gonna have some fun hockey coming up, and the next time that a lot of us are back in PNC, first game of playoffs.
Yep, and I know. I know when we come back for our next episode, I'm going to be on vacation starting Sunday. I'll be back next Saturday. And next Saturday on the 20th is when the playoffs start. So next time you guys are going to see us, we'll probably be doing a playoff preview with some predictions against whoever we face. There's a lot of potential.
Some predictions. Some look backs at what we predicted the end of the season would look like.
Oh, yeah,
fun.
Yep, we're definitely going to be bringing back our division predictions, and I can say this for sure. Thank you, Flyers, for proving us wrong for putting you last. Well, I know Kat didn't, but still, that was the New Jersey Devils pick was not a great one by me. I can tell you that much. But thanks, Devils, for just deciding not to show up. I'm just going to say,
we'll talk about it more next time, but I'm just going to say I got shit on for my Jackets where I put them. I got shit on for where I put the Rangers, and I'm feeling a little justified. That's all I'm saying.
Kat's coming for her flowers and just desserts. Let's basically put it that way. She's like, oh, I got receipts, and I can't wait to bring them to show you. Be like, here it is.
But yeah, until next time, of course, we just want to again say a great big thank you to Dan, one of our favorite guests to have on. Always, we learn so much from him every time he comes on.
Oh, yeah,
all the fun stories, all the fun. I mean, as a marketing major, I'm always like, oh, what they're doing is gorgeous. So a big thank you to him. A big thank you to his team. Again, we can't stop singing their praises because again, they make the Carolina Hurricanes experience. They do. They really do help make it what it is. Again, I have had many people come with me this season for their first time hockey games, and they are just in awe of the production, of the videos, of the graphic. Like they're blown away. And I'm very proud to be like, that's my team. even when sometimes their performance on the ice struggles a little bit, and then I can be like, but look at that pretty graphic right there. Look at that intro video.
Look at the cool thing we bought.
let me distract you by this for a second until we figure our stuff out on the ice. But yeah, so just a big thank you to them. If you didn't get a question in, or you have a question next time, Dan's going to be back. I promise. We love to have him on. So hold on to your questions for next time we have him. But for the meantime, Zach, where can people find you and where can they find the network?
Yeah, so if you're talking about the network, which is the Hockey Podcast Network, you should go to hockeypodcastnetwork.com. You can find us. You can find all other podcasts for all other teams around the league. Even got some college stuff and original content as well. I think one of the hosts is part of Shorzy, so who knows? You might get some cool content over there. Like I said, you can find us over the hockeypodcastnetwork.com and all that good stuff. For me, you can find me at onetruezach on Twitter. That's onetruezach. It's spelled out. It's not the number one itself. If you want more of the hobby stuff, Zach R. Martin 22 over on the Instagram side of things. I know on both Twitter and Instagram, I do have a personal link tree, which is in my bio. You can find where I write about hockey. With the hockey writers covering the Carolina Hurricanes.
Right, hockey, y'all.
Yep. With the Calder Times, I am doing the Charlotte Checkers, and I'm actually picking up another team just for the playoffs. It's the Rochester Americans, which is the Sabres AHL team. So it's kind of helping out that network with a little bit more content in terms of the playoffs. You also can find where you can find the SurgeCast on all podcast platforms and on YouTube, and the other podcast that I'm now doing over at Locked On Hurricanes. So yeah, you can find links to that podcast on YouTube as well. So
yeah, and like you said, like covered it. But if you want to follow the SurgeCast, honestly, just type in the SurgeCast on all social media platforms, and you'll find us. So like, follow, subscribe on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all of those fun things. You'll find us.
There's a link tree as well. There's a link trees as well for that. So
we are catching up on some of our videos, and might have some help with some fun new things with our videos coming up soon. I have to do some bargaining there, but hopefully some new things. It's either going to be in time for playoffs or it's going to be started. Or I hope it's in time for playoffs. Honestly. We'll see what I can do.
It all depends. I'm just saying I'm really glad we're getting some little extra help behind the scenes, especially for someone who's done it for other networks as well. Really excited to have them come on to just be a little extra help for behind the scenes work to get you guys more content from us.
I mean, again, we're really happy we come out every week and we're gracing your ears with our beautiful voices. I say that funny. I don't like listening to myself talk. So thank you for listening to us. But we do want to do more of this fun stuff on the video side of things. So we are working on getting that up and going. And
yeah, especially for YouTube and Instagram and stuff. Yeah, that's what we're hoping.
Yeah, so thanks for being patient with us. We'll figure that all out. And of course, you can find me on X at Twix, whatever, at caniacchic.
So close. You haven't done it yet. We were so close.
And then you can find me on TikTok at KVT Hunter 74 for the best defenseman in the NHL, of course. But yeah, that's it. We're wrapping up. This one was a little bit longer, but I mean, we can't really make it anything shorter with Dan.
Howie, if you complain about the length of this podcast, even though we had Dan on, I swear.
Go say it. If you complain about it, go say it to Dan the man's face. You have to say it with your full chest to his face if you're going to complain about it. But
don't you dare.
We're just going to say we're going to wrap up this episode. This was season 3, episode 38. We're in the final stretch, guys. Thanks for joining us. And again, let's go Canes.